I really didn't know how to structure this list at the beginning. I mean, top 10 Cuphead bosses? Based on what exactly? The number of times they made me fall into a rage frenzy? Or the times it made me want to throw my controller at the window? The line between genuine fun and psychological abuse gets blurry when you fight Cuphead bosses, believe me. In the end, everyone is going to have their own favorites, so I've created a list based on originality and balance between fun and frustration. Here are my top 10 Cuphead bosses. Number 10, the Root Pack. Now, I've never liked vegetables, but this quirky fight has raised my sympathy for them. This boss is 3 bosses in reality: a potato, an onion, and a carrot. The reason they made the list is because they're a good introduction to the rest of the game. The fight can get frustrating, but it doesn't make you want to kill the developers. Plus, I can't remember the last time I fought a veggie. Number 9, Hilda Burg. Unlike the previous boss that introduces you to the regular game in a less rage-inducing way, Hilda made me want to never fly again. The reason I put it here has to do with her design. It's the first boss where you truly get to see the amazing imagination of the developers. She follows a celestial theme, from attacks by constellations to a massive moon that launches UFOs at you. Now, despite the difficulty, the design alone made me want to keep trying. Number 8, Ribby and Croaks. Now, I consider these 2 amphibians as the first tricky boss of the game. Starts like any other fight, but then the 2 split and attack you from each side. Finally, they turn into a slot machine that spits spiked platforms with different damaging effects. Each phase is radically different from the ones before, forcing the player to think quickly and adapt, which is a perfect training for future tricky bosses. Number 7, Grim Matchstick. Now, I can't put into words how much I hated this dragon. It made me fall into a deep despair and question my sanity. The main difficulty when confronting this lizard is that you must fight it while jumping from cloud to cloud. Dodging its attacks is hard enough without having to worry if I'm falling on solid ground, or clouds in this case. I put it in this list for the sheer ecstasy you will feel when you finally defeat him. Number 6, Rumor Honeybottoms. Now, this fight was difficult for the same reason as the one with Grimm, but it has the right level of challenge. You must fight a queen bee and her army of drones while climbing a beehive skyscraper so you won't drown in honey. Although it can get frustrating, the stress of having to dodge, fight, and calculate where to jump next at the same works. It's an exhilarating experience without feeling too arbitrary. Number 5, Calla Maria. From the fights I had, I believe this one is probably one of the best designed. It has the smoothest transition in difficulty and aesthetic. You start fighting a sweet siren with a couple of attacks, then a mean gorgon that shoots everything she has at you, and then you end in a cavern fighting a floating head. As a rule, I didn't like the plane fights that much, but this one made me enjoy them. Number 4, Werner Worman. Now, this boss is equal parts hilarious and creepy, with a magnificent twist at the end, one of the most originals by far. You're basically fighting a genius German rat. Fight starts with him attacking you in a tank made from a can. Then as the fight progresses, you see a scary cat lurking behind a wall who finally devours Werner. The surprise comes when you defeat the cat and find out it's mechanical and that Werner was controlling it all along. Number 3, the Phantom Express. Another multiple boss battle. The Phantom Express is composed of 4 entities: the Blind Spectre, T-Bone, the Blaze Brothers, and the head of the train. The thing I like the most about this fight, apart from the spooky theme, is the added difficulty of restricted movement. You're standing on a platform that's riding along the train that can be adjusted into 3 positions. It forces you to think tactically, but it never becomes a burden. Number 2, the Devil. Now, I've got a lot of conflicting feelings regarding the final boss of the game. The fight starts very well, with the devil sitting in his throne where he transforms into different beings, each one with its own type of attack. He emanates power and danger, convincing you that only luck is going to save your butt. However, as the fight goes on, his attacks become more limited and less original, until you reduce him to a crying, whiny baby. Now, maybe some players would get satisfaction from this, but I expected a tougher fight from the Lord of Hell. And number 1, King Dice. All hail the king. He truly deserves the first place. Sorry, devil. But the funny thing is that the fight against King Dice himself is not that original or entertaining. It's the board game you must play to reach him, and the fight against his mini-bosses that is a delight. It's like having 9 different bosses packed into one, all with amazing designs, from a pile of chips to 3 drinks and a giant cigar. Hell, you could have made the whole game about fighting him and his minions in the casino and I would have been happy. Well, there is our list. Tell us in the comments if you agree or disagree, and we hope to see you again at the next video here at Game Domain.